Welcome to the Romeo and Juliet Act 2 Scenes 4 to 6 analysis video. These scenes really focus on the secret wedding preparations between Romeo and Juliet. Scene 4 starts off the morning after the Capulet party, with Benvolio and Mercutio getting word that Tybalt has challenged Romeo to a duel. On page 49, Mercutio makes an eerie remark about Romeo already being dead. What tool is Shakespeare using here? During this scene, we also learn more about Tybalt. For example, on page 49 and 50, Mercutio describes Tybalt's reputation. Look over these passages carefully and make note of character traits that we learn about Tybalt. We also learn about Mercutio on page 55. Again, I'd like you to highlight passages and name some of the qualities that we learn about Mercutio here. On page 51, Romeo once again talks to Mercutio about love, even telling him how powerful love is and how it's making him become a bit absent-minded and preoccupied. I want you to look at page 51 and highlight some of the things that love is making Romeo do. Near the end of scene 4 and throughout most of scene 5, Shakespeare really emphasizes the thrilling joy of young romantic love from both Romeo and Juliet's perspective. For instance, at the end of scene 4, Romeo is super excited and really proclaiming his love and how powerful of a force it is. Whereas in scene 5, Juliet can barely contain herself with her nerves and her excitement as she tries to get news from the nurse, who playfully pretends to be too tired to give Juliet any word. On page 58, through Juliet's discussions, both before the nurse arrives and once the nurse gets there, we learn a little bit more about Juliet and her character traits. Look over what Juliet says and highlight some of the qualities that we learn about her. This is also one of your questions in your Red LES booklet. Finally, in scene 6, the secret wedding between Romeo and Juliet takes place. This is a very powerful scene filled with foreshadowing, where Friar Lawrence says a number of different comments or makes a number of different observations about the power of love and the presence of fate in Romeo and Juliet's relationship. If you look specifically on the screen, we have two quotes. One time the friar says, "May the heavens be happy with this holy act of marriage, so that nothing unfortunate happens." What is he referring to when he talks about the heavens? Is he talking about faith or fate? Also, Friar Lawrence says, "Love each other in moderation, because too fast is as bad as too slow." I really want you to look over these passages. How are these examples of foreshadowing? What does Friar Lawrence mean when he gives these words of wisdom about loving in moderation? And what does he mean when he's talking about the heavens? What is he meaning, and why exactly is he saying this to the two young lovers? That's it for the Act 2 Scenes 4 to 6 analysis video. As I mentioned in previous videos, this act is by far the happiest of all the acts in the play. But if Act 2 is the happiest, then the upcoming act, that being Act 3, is probably the most violent, where epic battles between Mercutio and Tybalt and Romeo await us. Like always, if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to post them on Edmodo. Remember to check back and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. Otherwise, we can talk about some of these things in class.